An old friend returns this weekend. It's the BCS. That's right, BCS. This is OU Football with Jake Trotter, sponsored by Cable Motors. I'm Barry Tramel, Jake Trotter alongside, and Jake, this Sunday, the first installment of the BCS comes out. How will the Sooners look, provided they take care of business with Iowa State?
I think the Sooners are going to be in the top five, even though they're sixth in the polls. I think the strength of schedule with the win over Florida State, who might win the ACC, turns out, and then Air Force, which is 5-1. I think those two wins are going to look really good. And don't forget about the win over Cincinnati. That could be a win over two conference champions when you talk about the Big East with Cincinnati and Florida State with the ACC. Cincinnati looks playing a lot better than they were earlier in the year.
Well, of course, Alabama loses Saturday to South Carolina, sort of opened up a slot for a lot of teams. People had Alabama penciled into the national title game. Are OU's chances for a berth in the national title game in Glendale, Arizona, are they better now than they were?
Oh, no question, because I think an undefeated Oklahoma gets there over a one-loss Alabama. The team to watch for OU right now is the old nemesis Oregon, because Oregon right now is number 2 in the polls, and you think that OU or Nebraska, whoever wins the Big 12, is going to be battling an undefeated Oregon to see who plays Ohio State. That's the way it looks right now. Obviously, that doesn't include Boise State and TCU, who are kind of on the outside looking in with the computer strength.
Do you think Boise State and or TCU would they fall below all other undefeateds at the end of this season?
I don't know about all undefeateds, but they would fall below an undefeated Ohio State, an undefeated Pac-10 champ Oregon, and an undefeated Oklahoma or Nebraska. So I don't think Boise State or TCU is the biggest worry for Sooner fans. I think it's going to be the Big Ten, the Pac-10. And there's still a chance somebody undefeated comes out of the SEC. We still think Alabama probably is going to win the league, but you have LSU kind of hanging around undefeated, Auburn. I think those teams would probably leap OU too.
Sooners have won a bunch of close games this year. 4 out of 5 games decided by one possession. Style points starting to matter for Oklahoma. Do they need to put a whipping on Iowa State this Saturday?
Yeah, I don't know if a win over Iowa State, no matter how big, is going to give you a bunch of style points. But we saw Nebraska against K-State win by 40 points and really look impressive doing it. They went up from like 7-4 in some of the polls. So you're going to see some of that based on how bad people beat teams in their conference. And OU's going to have some opportunities for some style point wins. Maybe not Iowa State, but the following week at Missouri could be undefeated in that game. That's going to be a big chance for some style points.
Well, we'll find out more Sunday when the BCS is released. Stay tuned for further OU football coverage every day in the Oklahoman and here on News OK. Remember, OU football is sponsored by Cable Motors.